Welcome to Rose Bowl. Oklahoma against Notre Dame. For the Action PC Championship. Stevenson to kick off. The kick from Stevenson is returned 25 yards by Jennings, Crow on the tackle. Single wing formation. McCullough from the shotgun. McCarty with the handoff. McCarty on the carry, loss of 2, Kerr on the stop. Second and 12 from the 34. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. False. McCullough on the carry, gain of 3, Biner on the tackle. Third and 9 from the 37. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. Medium fly to McCarty, complete. McCullough passes to McCarty, 11-yard gain, Basu on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. Long fly. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Young, Zontainai with the coverage. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. Medium crossing pass to Shirk, complete. McCullough completes the pass to Shirk, gain of 18, Stevenson on the tackle, first down. First and 10 from the 34. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. Short button hook to McCarty, incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to McCarty, Basu on the coverage. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. McCullough throws to Shirk. Incomplete. McCullough passes to Shirk, incomplete, Stevenson on the coverage. Third and 10 at the 34. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. McCullough throws to Martin. Intercepted by Logie. McCullough is intercepted by Logie, return of 44. Shotgun. Sagaw pitches left to Zontainai. Zontainai with the carry, gain of 3, Coppage on the tackle. Sagaw calls the signals. Drops back to pass. Sagaw passes to Zontainai, intercepted by Spiegel. Sagaw is intercepted by Spiegel, return of 34. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. McCullough at the line. Sets to throw. Medium fly to Martin. Incomplete. McCullough to Martin, incomplete, Logie on the coverage. McCullough brings them to the line. Single wing formation. Hand off to McCullough. He throws to McCarty. Incomplete. McCullough to McCarty, incomplete, Basu with the coverage. Third and 10 from the 48. Single wing formation. McCullough calling signals. Hand off to McCullough. He throws to McCarty. He dropped it. McCullough throws incomplete to McCarty, flag on the field.
Roughing the passer, defense. Number 25, 15-yard penalty. Automatic, first down.
Single wing formation. Clark hands to McCarty. McCarty with a gain of 1 on the play, Biner on the tackle. Single wing formation. Clark with the give to McCarty. McCarty with a 1-yard run, Brown on the tackle. Third and 8 from the 31. Single wing formation. Hand off to McCullough. He throws to McCarty. Complete. McCullough completes the pass to McCarty, gain of 13, Basu on the stop, first down. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. Medium out to Shirk. Incomplete. McCullough with the pass to Shirk, incomplete, Stevenson with the coverage. Single wing formation. McCullough at the line. Sets to throw. Medium sideline pass to Martin. Incomplete. McCullough to Martin, incomplete, Loney with the coverage. Third and 10 from the 18. Single wing formation. The give to Clark. Clark checks down to Shirk, complete. Clark completes the pass to Shirk, touchdown Oklahoma. Boudreaux will try the point after. Boudreaux makes the extra point, Oklahoma 7, Notre Dame 0. Here's the kick from Faber. The kick from Faber is returned 11 yards by P. Poole, Faber on the tackle. Shotgun. Sagau fades back to pass. Short slant to Kelly, he's got it. Sagau completes the pass to Kelly, 4-yard gain, Rogers on the tackle. Bootleg. Sagau has room to run. 18-yard run by Sagau, McCullough on the tackle, first down. Sagau pitches left to Zontainai. Zontainai on the pitch, gain of 13, McCullough on the tackle, first down. Sagau sets up in the pocket. Medium slant to Brown. Incomplete. Sagau throws incomplete to Brown, McCullough on the coverage. Sagau fades back to pass. Sagau throws underneath to Kelly, Rogers picked it off at the 36. Sagau is intercepted by Rogers, return of 23. First and 10 from the 41. Single wing formation. Shotgun. McCullough calling signals. McCullough drops back to pass. False. McCullough with a gain of 14 on the play, Basu on the tackle, first down. First and 10 from the 27. Single wing formation. McCullough drops back to pass. Pass in the flat to McCarty, complete. McCullough completes the pass to McCarty, 7-yard gain, Basu on the tackle. Second and 3. Single wing formation. Clark tucks it under. McCullough on the carry, loss of 3, Kerr on the tackle. Third and 6 at the 23. Single wing formation. McCullough drops back to pass. McCullough is off and running. McCullough with a 3-yard run, Kell with the tackle. 4th and 3 from the 20. Single wing formation. McCullough back to pass. He dumps it to Martin. Complete. McCullough to Martin, gain of 7, Loney with the tackle, first down. First and 10 from the 13. Single wing formation. Clark hands to McCarty. McCarty with the carry, gain of 1, Kelly on the tackle. Second and 9. Single wing formation. McCullough calls out the signals. Hand off to McCullough. He throws to Shirk. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Shirk, Stevenson on the coverage. Third and 9. Single wing formation. McCullough calling signals. Fades back to pass. Pass in the flat to Martin. Incomplete. McCullough to Martin, incomplete, Loney on the coverage. Martin is running with it. Faber lost 5 on the play, Kelly on the tackle. First and 10 at the 17. Sheridan behind center. Shotgun. Sheridan on the draw. Sheridan lost 1 on the play, Duggan with the tackle. Sagaw fades back to pass. Sagaw is running. 2-yard gain by Sagaw, Shirk with the tackle. Third and 9. Sagaw sets up in the pocket. Sagaw tucks it under. Wide open field. 22-yard gain by Sagaw, Seymour with the tackle, first down. The hand off to P-Pool. P-Pool lost 1 on the play, Coppage on the stop. Sagaw pitches right to Zontainai. Zontainai on the carry, loss of 4, Shirk on the stop. Third and 15 from the 35. Sagaw sets up in the pocket. Medium fly. Incomplete. Sagaw to Sheridan, incomplete, Seymour on the coverage. Stevenson to punt. "46-yard punt by Stevenson, return of 13 by Seymour."
Offsides, defense. 5-yard penalty.
Stevenson to punt. "45-yard punt by Stevenson, return of 9 by Rogers." Single wing formation. McCullough in the shotgun. McCarty with the handoff. McCarty lost 1 on the play, Viner on the tackle. Single wing formation. McCullough hollers out the signals. He fades back to pass. McCullough throws downfield to Martin. He dropped it. McCullough throws incomplete to Martin, Loney on the coverage. Third and 11 from the 23. Single wing formation. Clark fades back to pass. Clark is off and running. Clark on the carry, 6-yard gain, Viner on the tackle. Martin back in punt formation. 37-yard punt by Martin, return of 10 by Sitko. Saga in the shotgun. Saga on the run. Saga lost 3 on the play, Spiegel on the tackle. Second and 13. Saga tucks it under. Saga on the sweep, gain of 2, Wood on the tackle. Third and 11 from the 43. Saga drops back to pass. Medium fly to Sheridan. He dropped it. Saga throws incomplete to Sheridan. Stevenson to punt. A 40-yard punt by Stevenson, return of 15 by Rogers. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. McCarty with the handoff. McCarty the ball carrier, gain of 2, Gallagher on the tackle. Single wing formation. Clark running. McCullough lost 2 on the play, Kelly on the stop. End of the first quarter, Oklahoma 7, Notre Dame 0. Third and 10 from the 32. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. Medium hitch. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Shirk, Stevenson on the coverage. Martin back in punt formation. A 34-yard punt by Martin, no return. Notre Dame trailing by 7. First and 10 from the 34. Saga from the shotgun. The give to Zontainot. 7-yard gain by Zontainot, McCullough with the tackle. Saga gives to P-Pool. 3-yard run by P-Pool, Coppage on the tackle, first down. Bootleg. 11-yard run by Saga, McCullough with the tackle, first down. First and 10 at the 45. Saga gives to P-Pool. P-Pool on the carry, flag on the field.
Holding, offense. Number 78, 10-yard penalty.
First and 20 from the 45. Hand off to Zontainot. Zontainot with a gain of 11 on the play, McCullough on the tackle. Transfers control to Zontainot. Room to run. Zontainot the ball carrier, gain of 10, McCullough on the tackle, first down. The give to Sheridan. Sheridan on the carry, no gain, Duggan with the tackle. Second and 10 from the 34. Saga barks out the signals. Saga fades back to pass. Saga will have to run. Saga on the carry, gain of 9, Rogers on the tackle. Third and 1 from the 25. Saga at the line. Zontainot with the handoff. Zontainot the ball carrier, loss of 1, Young with the tackle. Penalty on the play.
False start. Offense. Number 73, 5-yard penalty.
Stevenson to punt. "31-yard punt by Stevenson, touchback." First and 10. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Hand off to McCullough. He throws to McCarty. Complete. McCullough completes the pass to McCarty, gain of 12, Basu with the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. McCullough calls the signals. Fades back to pass. Short in. Complete. McCullough to Shirt, gain of 28, Stevenson on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. McCullough barks out the signals. McCullough fades back to pass. McCullough is off and running. McCullough with a gain of 4 on the play, Biner on the stop. Second and 6 from the 36. Single wing formation. Clark gives to McCarty. McCarty lost 1 on the play, Biner on the tackle. Third and 7 from the 37. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. McCullough is running with it. McCullough on the carry, 4-yard gain, Brown on the tackle. Fourth and 3 from the 33. Single wing formation. McCullough sets up in the pocket. McCullough is off and running. McCullough with a gain of 5 on the play, Stevenson with the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. McCullough barks out the signals. The hand off to Martin. 2-yard run by Martin, Brown on the tackle. Single wing formation. McCullough back to pass. Medium in. Caught by Shirk inside the 15. McCullough to Shirk, gain of 18, Stevenson on the tackle, first down. First and goal from the 8. Single wing formation. McCarty with the hand off. McCarty with the carry, no gain, Kerr on the tackle. Single wing formation. Clark behind center. Clark on the draw. Clark on the draw, no gain, Kell on the tackle. Third and goal. 6:42 in the second. Single wing formation. McCullough calls out the signals. McCullough fades back to pass. False. McCullough the ball carrier, touchdown Oklahoma. Boudreaux will try the point after. The kick by Boudreaux is good. Oklahoma 14, Notre Dame 0.
Grabbing the face mask. Defense. 15-yard penalty.
Here's the kick from Faber. The kick from Faber is returned 18 yards by Sagaw, Martin on the tackle. Notre Dame down 14. First and 10. Sagaw in the shotgun. Sagaw running. Sagaw running room. Sagaw gains 15 on the sweep, Wood on the tackle, first down. Sagaw back to pass. Dropped by Scherr. Sagaw is sacked by Scherr, loss of 7. Zontainai is back to pass. Zontainai is running. Running room. 10-yard gain by Zontainai, McCullough on the tackle. Third and 7 from the 35. Saga tucks it under. Saga the ball carrier, no gain, Shirk on the tackle. Stevenson from punt formation. "38-yard punt by Stevenson, 9-yard return by Rogers. First and 10 at the 36. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Quick pitch to McCarty. With daylight. McCarty the ball carrier, gain of 22, Stevenson on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. McCullough at the line. McCarty takes the handoff. McCarty on the carry, no gain, Kelly on the tackle. Single wing formation. McCullough at the line. He fades back to pass. McCullough passes to Young. Incomplete. McCullough passes to Young, incomplete, Zontainai on the coverage. Third and 10 from the 42. Single wing formation. Give to McCullough. He throws to McCarty. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to McCarty, Vasu with the coverage. Martin from punt formation. Sitko waiting inside his own 10. "29-yard punt by Martin, out of bounds. Penalty on the play.
False start. Offense. Number 34. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
First and 15. Saga in the shotgun. Saga gives to Zontainai. 5-yard run by Zontainai, Shirk on the stop. Hurry up. Bootleg. Saga on the carry, gain of 9, Wood on the tackle. Third and 1 from the 22. Saga running. Saga with the carry, gain of 3, Shirk with the tackle, first down. First and 10. Notre Dame in a hurry up. Saga calling signals. Saga hands to Sheridan. Sheridan lost one on the play, Young on the tackle. Second and 11. Quicken pace now. Saga fades back to pass. Medium outside pass to Sheridan. Incomplete. Saga passes to Sheridan, in penalty on the play.
Offsetting penalties. Repeat, second down.
Penalty on the play.
False start. Offense. Number 23. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Fighting Irish trailing by 14. Second and 16. Saga calls the signals. He fades back to pass. Medium hitch to Kelly, complete. Saga completes the pass to Kelly, gain of 6, Rogers on the stop. Fighting Irish down by 14. Third and 10 from the 25. Saga drops back to pass. Saga will have to run. Running room. Saga with a gain of 15 on the play, McCullough on the tackle, first down. First and 10 from the 40. Saga calls out the signals. Saga running. Saga on the sweep, gain of 9, Wood with the tackle. Fighting Irish trailing by 14. Second and 1 at the 49. 1:08 left in the second. Saga fades back to pass. Saga throws underneath, he's got it. Saga passes to Zontainai, gain of 4, Spiegel with the tackle, first down. Saga running. Saga gains 9 on the sweep, McCullough on the tackle. Hurry up offense. Saga with the give to P-Pool. P-Pool on the carry, gain of 2, Bowers with the tackle, first down. Notre Dame down by 14. Second and 10 from the 36. 0:27 in the second. Current drive, 12 plays, 56 yards. They've used 2:24 on the clock. Saga drops back to pass. False. There he goes. Saga on the carry, gain of 28, McCullough with the tackle, first down. Notre Dame hustling to the line. Saga sets up in the pocket. Saga passes to Zontainai, incomplete. Saga throws incomplete to Zontainai, Spiegel on the coverage. Second and goal at the 8. Saga calling signals. Current drive, 14 plays, 84 yards. 2:50 off the clock. Saga fades back to pass. Short out pass to Zontainai. He dropped it. Saga throws incomplete to Zontainai, Spiegel on the coverage, end of the first half, Oklahoma 14. Here's the kick from Faber. The kick from Faber is returned 8 yards by P-Pool, Faber on the tackle. Shotgun formation. Saga with the give to Sheridan. Sheridan with the carry, no gain, Shirk on the tackle. Saga sets up in the pocket. Saga dumps it to Sheridan. Incomplete. Saga throws incomplete to Sheridan. Third and 10 at the 26. Saga fades back to pass. Saga fires downfield to Zontainai, incomplete. Saga throws incomplete to Zontainai, Spiegel on the coverage. Stevenson to punt. "45-yard punt by Stevenson, return of 13 by Seymour." Oklahoma breaks the huddle. Oklahoma by 14. Single wing formation. Shotgun. The handoff to Clark. Clark with a gain of 4 on the play, Brown with the tackle. Second and 6. Single wing formation. McCullough at the line. Drops back to pass. Medium out to McCarty. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to McCarty, Vasu on the coverage. 3rd and 6 at the 46. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. False. McCullough the ball carrier, gain of 5, Basu on the stop. Martin back in punt formation. Sitko waiting inside his own 10. A 23-yard punt by Martin, out of bounds. Shotgun formation. Saga hands to Zontainai. Zontainai on the carry, no gain, Young on the tackle. Saga drops back to pass. Medium hitch. Intercepted by Seymour. Saga is intercepted by Seymour, return of 18. Oklahoma by 14. Single wing formation. McCullough in the shotgun. Drops back to pass. McCullough throws underneath to McCarty, incomplete. McCullough to McCarty, incomplete, Basu on the coverage. Second and 10 from the 43. Single wing formation. Clark running. McCullough on the carry, loss of 3, Kelly on the tackle. Third and 13 from the 46. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. He checks down to McCarty. McCullough is intercepted by Zontainai, flag on the field.
Personal foul, defense. Number 8, 15-yard penalty. Automatic, first down.
Single wing formation. Hand off to McCarty. McCarty on the sweep, no gain, Kelly on the tackle. Oklahoma up 14. Single wing formation. Give to McCullough. He throws to Shirk. Complete. McCullough completes the pass to Shirk, gain of 15, Stevenson on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. McCullough calling signals. Bootleg. McCullough on the bootleg, no gain, Gallagher with the tackle. Single wing formation. The give to McCarty. McCarty the ball carrier, loss of 1, Viner on the stop. Third and 11 from the 17. Single wing formation. McCullough back to pass. He throws underneath to Martin, complete. McCullough completes the pass to Martin, gain of 11, Loney on the tackle, first down. Oklahoma up 14. Single wing formation. McCullough calling signals. Clark on the run. McCullough the ball carrier, loss of 2, Gallagher on the tackle. Flag on the play.
Encroachment, defense. Number 84, repeat, second down.
Single wing formation. Clark behind center. Clark at the line. Clark on the draw. Clark lost 3 on the play, Viner with the tackle. Third and goal at the 7. Single wing formation. The give to McCullough. He throws to Martin. Incomplete. McCullough to Martin, incomplete, Loney on the coverage. 24-yard field goal for favor. Martin to hold. Spiegel with the snap. Faber missed the 24-yard kick. Shotgun formation. Shovels it to Zontainai. Zontainai on the carry, no gain, Duggan with the tackle. Sagaw gives to Zontainai. Zontainai on the carry, no gain, Shirk with the tackle. Notre Dame down 14. 3rd and 10 from the 20. Sagaw at the line. Back to pass. Medium fly to Kerr. Incomplete. Sagaw throws incomplete to Kerr, Rogers on the coverage. Stevenson to punt. The punt is blocked, fumble recovered by Bowers, returned for a Oklahoma touchdown. Boudreaux will try the point after. Boudreaux converts the extra point, Oklahoma 21, Notre Dame 0. Here's the kick from Faber. The kick from Faber is returned 12 yards by P. Poole, Faber with the tackle. First and 10 from the 31. Shotgun. Bootleg. Sagaw on the bootleg, gain of 7, Young on the tackle. Notre Dame trailing by 21. Sagaw running. Sagaw on the carry, gain of 5, Young on the tackle, first down. Sagaw at the line. Sagaw shovels it to Zontainai. Zontainai on the carry, gain of 8, McCullough with the tackle. Second and 2 at the 49. Sagaw fades back to pass. Sagaw dumps it to Sheridan, incomplete. Sagaw throws incomplete to Sheridan, Wood on the coverage. Third and 2 from the 49. Sagaw fades back to pass. Sagaw will run. Sagaw on the carry, gain of 9, Young on the stop, first down. Sagaw gives to P. Poole. P. Poole on the carry, gain of 3, Duggan on the tackle. Sheridan behind center. Draw to Sheridan. Sheridan on the draw, no gain, Young on the stop. Third and 7 from the 37. Sagaw back to pass. Short cross to Brown. Complete. Sagaw to Brown, gain of 18, McCullough on the tackle, first down. Notre Dame trailing by 21. Sagaw at the line. Current drive, 8 plays, 50 yards. They've used 3:42 on the clock. Sagaw on the run. Sagaw gains 5 on the sweep, Duggan on the tackle. Notre Dame breaks the huddle. Current drive, 9 plays, 55 yards. 4:14 off the clock. Sagaw back to pass. Medium cross. Sagaw throws incomplete to Kerr. Third and 5 at the 14. Sagaw is back to pass. Medium hitch. Incomplete. Sagaw throws incomplete to Zontainai, Spiegel on the coverage. 31-yard try for Stevenson. Stevenson to hold. The snap from McIntyre. Stevenson missed from 31. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. McCullough sets to throw. McCullough is off and running. 6-yard run by McCullough, Kerr on the stop. Single wing formation. McCullough slow to the line. McCullough calling signals. And off to McCarty. 6-yard run by McCarty, Kell with the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. They're taking their time. McCullough calls out the signals. And off to McCullough. He throws to Martin. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to Martin, Loney with the coverage. Single wing formation. Clark pitches left to McCarty. McCarty on the carry, loss of 4, Viner on the tackle, end of the third quarter, Oklahoma 21, Notre Dame 0. Oklahoma ahead by 21. 3rd and 14. Single wing formation. McCullough fades back to pass. McCullough is running. McCullough with a gain of 9 on the play, Stevenson on the tackle. Martin back in punt formation. "29-yard punt by Martin, return of 4 by Sitko.
Offsides, offense. 5-yard penalty.
Sheridan behind center. Shotgun formation. Counter draw to Sheridan. Sheridan on the draw, loss of 3, Duggan on the tackle. Sagaw back to pass. Downfield to Kelly. Picked off by Rogers at the 47. Sagaw is intercepted by Rogers, penalty on the play.
Offsides, defense. Number 54, 5-yard penalty.
Second and 8. Sagaw fades back to pass. Medium fly to Kelly. Incomplete. Sagaw passes to Kelly, incomplete, penalty on the play.
Holding, offense. Number 78, 10-yard penalty.
Second and 18 from the 30. Sagaw back to pass. Long crossing pass. Sagaw is intercepted by McCullough, return of 0. Oklahoma by 21. Single wing formation. McCullough from the shotgun. And off to Clark. He dumps it to McCarty, incomplete. Clark passes to McCarty, incomplete, Basu on the coverage. Single wing formation. Clark pitches right to Martin. Martin on the carry, no gain, Kell on the tackle. Third and 10. Single wing formation. McCullough slow to the line. McCullough sets up in the pocket. McCullough is running. McCullough with an 8-yard run, Brown on the tackle. Martin from punt formation. A 33-yard punt by Martin, return of 22 by Sheridan. Sag off from the shotgun. And off to P-Pool. P-Pool on the carry, gain of 7, Young on the tackle. The snap is fumbled. Fumble. Sagall lost 4 on the play, fumble recovered by Sagall, Notre Dame maintains possession. 3rd and 7. Sagall pitches right to Zontainai. Zontainai with the carry, no gain, Shirk on the stop. 4th and 7. Sagall sets up in the pocket. Sagall checks down to Kelly. Incomplete. Sagall throws incomplete to Kelly, Rogers on the coverage. First and 10. Single wing formation. Clark behind center. Clark in the shotgun. Medium sideline pass to Martin. Incomplete. Clark to Martin, incomplete, Loney with the coverage. Oklahoma by 21. 2nd and 10 from the 42. Single wing formation. The snap is fumbled. Fumble. McCullough lost 4 on the play, fumble recovered by McCullough, Oklahoma maintains possession. 3rd and 14 at the 38. Single wing formation. Slow down. McCullough fades back to pass. Medium slant. Leaping catch. McCullough to Shirk, gain of 14, Stevenson on the tackle, first down. Oklahoma by 21. Single wing formation. Slow down. Give to McCullough. He throws to McCarty. Incomplete. McCullough throws incomplete to McCarty, Vasu with the coverage. Oklahoma by 21. 2nd and 10 at the 48. Single wing formation. Bootleg. McCullough on the carry, gain of 11, Stevenson on the tackle, first down. 1st and 10 at the 37. Single wing formation. Slow down. McCullough calling signals. McCarty with the handoff. McCarty the ball carrier, no gain, Kell on the tackle. Oklahoma up 21. Single wing formation. They're in a slow down. Bootleg. McCullough on the carry, no gain, Brown on the tackle. Third and 10 from the 37. Single wing formation. McCullough taking his time. Give to Clark. He throws to Young. Incomplete. Clark to Young, incomplete, Zontainai on the coverage. Martin back in punt formation. "37-yard punt by Martin, touchback. First and 10 from the 20. Shotgun. Bootleg. Sagat on the carry, no gain, Coppage on the tackle. Notre Dame hustling to the line. Give to P-Pool. P-Pool with the carry, gain of 2, Young on the tackle. Third and 8 at the 22. Notre Dame hustling to the line. Transfers control to Sheridan. He throws, deflected by Spiegel at the 40. Sheridan is intercepted by Wood, return of 0. First and 10 at the 40. Single wing formation. McCullough in the shotgun. McCullough barks out the signals. Clark gives to McCarty. McCarty lost one on the play, Kelly on the tackle. Single wing formation. Slow down offense. McCullough at the line. Bootleg. McCullough plenty of room to run. McCullough the ball carrier, gain of 11, Loney on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. McCullough working very slowly. Transfers control to McCullough. He throws to Shirk. Complete. McCullough completes the pass to Shirk, 13-yard gain, Stevenson on the tackle, first down. Oklahoma leads by 21. First and 10 at the 17. Single wing formation. McCullough taking his time. Clark gives to McCarty. 3-yard run by McCarty, Basu on the stop. Oklahoma by 21. Second and 7 at the 14. Single wing formation. They're in a slow down. McCullough at the line. Clark pitches right to Martin. Martin on the pitch, no gain, Kelly on the tackle. Tom Stidham is feeling good. Third and 7 from the 14. Single wing formation. Oklahoma working slowly. The handoff to McCarty. McCarty lost one on the play, Biner on the tackle. Oklahoma by 21. Fourth and 8 at the 15. 2:48 in the fourth. Single wing formation. Slow down offense. McCullough barks out the signals. McCullough sets up in the pocket. McCullough is off and running. McCullough on the carry, gain of 3, Sitko with the tackle. Sagaw in the shotgun. He fades back to pass. Long curl. Incomplete. Sagaw throws incomplete to Brown, McCullough on the coverage.
Pass interference, defense. Number 26, 15-yard penalty. Automatic, first down.
Notre Dame trailing by 21. Sagaw drops back to pass. Medium out to Brown. Complete. Sagaw completes the pass to Brown, 25-yard gain, McCullough with the tackle, first down. Notre Dame in a hurry up. Sagaw is back to pass. Medium out. Incomplete. Sagaw throws incomplete to Brown. Notre Dame down 21. Sagaw fades back to pass. Medium out to Brown. Incomplete. Sagaw to Brown, incomplete, Rogers on the coverage. Third and 10 from the 48. Sagaw drops back to pass. Medium out pass. Incomplete. Sagaw throws incomplete to Brown, McCullough with the coverage. Fourth and 10 from the 48. Sagaw fades back to pass. Short sideline pass to Brown. Incomplete. Sagaw to Brown, incomplete, Rogers on the coverage. Single wing formation. Shotgun. The give to McCarty. 1-yard gain by McCarty, Bechtold on the tackle. Oklahoma leads by 21. 2nd and 9. Single wing formation. Slow down offense. Bootleg. McCullough lost 2 on the play, McGoldrick on the tackle. Clark will go to a knee. Oklahoma 21, Notre Dame 0. Welcome to Rose Bowl. Colgate against TCU. For the Action PC Championship. Here's the kick from Alexander. The kick from Alexander is returned 10 yards by Wilson, best on the tackle. First and 10 at the 24. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Wilson gives to Herman. 2-yard gain by Herman, Williams on the tackle. Single wing formation. Hand off to Lube. He throws to Hogue. Incomplete. Lube with the pass to Hogue, incomplete, Sparks with the coverage. Third and 8. Single wing formation. Zimmerman out wide. Lube sets up in the pocket. Lube throws to Hogue. Sparks kicked it at the 31. Lube is intercepted by Clark, return of 2. Single wing formation. From the shotgun. Clark tucks it under. O'Brien on the sweep, gain of 5, Zimmerman on the tackle. Single wing formation. Hand off to O'Brien. He throws to Sparks. O'Brien is intercepted by Hogue, return of 0. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Herman with the hand off. Herman with a gain of 2 on the play, Hale on the tackle. Second and 8 at the 9. Single wing formation. Herman with the transfer. Herman on the carry, gain of 1, Cook on the tackle. Third and 7. Single wing formation. The hand off to Hogue. Hogue with a 2-yard run, Looney on the tackle. Hogue back in punt formation. From his own end zone. 39-yard punt by Hogue, 11-yard return by O'Brien. Single wing formation. Shotgun. The give to O'Brien. He throws to Hall. Complete. O'Brien with the pass to Hall, gain of 13, Buck on the tackle, first down. First and 10 from the 27. Single wing formation. Hall running. 1-yard run by O'Brien, Donnelly on the tackle. Second and 9. Single wing formation. Clifford with the handoff. Clifford on the sweep, no gain, Scoville on the stop. Third and 9 from the 26. Single wing formation. O'Brien drops back to pass. Long outside pass. Incomplete. O'Brien to Horner, incomplete, Hogue on the coverage. Fourth and 9. Single wing formation. O'Brien fades back to pass. O'Brien is off and running. O'Brien on the carry, gain of 3, Loop on the tackle. Single wing formation. Loop in the shotgun. Hogue with the handoff. Hogue with a gain of 7 on the play, Sparks on the stop. Second and 3 from the 30. Single wing formation. Loop calling signals. He fades back to pass. Loop throws to Herman. Complete. Loop with the pass to Herman, gain of 10, Aldrich with the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Wilson tucks it under. 2-yard run by Loop, Hale with the tackle. Single wing formation. Hand off to Hogue. Hogue with a gain of 1 on the play, Looney on the tackle. Third and 7 from the 43. Single wing formation. Loop fades back to pass. Short cross to Zimmerman. Incomplete. Loop throws incomplete to Zimmerman, penalty on the play.
Illegal motion, offense, 5-yard penalty.
Hogue back in punt formation. "40-yard punt by Hogue, return of 11 by O'Brien. Single wing formation. O'Brien from the shotgun. Hand off to O'Brien. He throws to Hall. Incomplete. O'Brien throws incomplete to Hall, Buck on the coverage.
Pass interference, defense. Number 51, automatic, first down.
Single wing formation. The give to O'Brien. He throws to Hall. Incomplete. O'Brien to Hall, incomplete. Single wing formation. Give to O'Brien. He throws to Horner. He dropped it. O'Brien to Horner, incomplete, Hogue on the coverage.
Pass interference, defense. Number 17, 15-yard penalty. Automatic, first down.
Single wing formation. Hall with the hand off. Hall on the sweep, no gain, Donnelly on the tackle. Single wing formation. Hall pitches right to Hall. Hall the ball carrier, no gain, Donnelly on the tackle. Third and 10 at the 45. Single wing formation. Clark on the draw. Clark on the draw, gain of 2, Hamilton on the stop. Sparks deep in punt formation. Hogue standing inside his own 10. "38-yard punt by Sparks, no return. Single wing formation. Lube in the shotgun. Lube barks out the signals. The give to Hogue. 5-yard gain by Hogue, Williams on the tackle. Single wing formation. Bootleg. Lube the ball carrier, loss of 3, Williams on the tackle. Third and 8 from the 7. Single wing formation. Wilson gives to Hogue. Hogue on the carry, no gain, Horner with the tackle. Hogue to punt. In his own end zone. "45-yard punt by Hogue, return of 9 by O'Brien. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Hall with the give to Hall. Hall lost 4 on the play, Donnelly on the tackle. Single wing formation. O'Brien sets up in the pocket. Medium out pass to Horner. Incomplete. O'Brien throws incomplete to Horner, Hogue on the coverage. Third and 14 at the 47. Single wing formation. O'Brien fades back to pass. Medium hitch to Clark. Complete. O'Brien completes the pass to Clark, gain of 24, Lube on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Give to O'Brien. He dumps it to Clifford. Incomplete. O'Brien passes to Clifford, incomplete, Herman on the coverage. Second and 10 from the 23. Single wing formation. O'Brien sets up in the pocket. O'Brien is off and running. O'Brien on the carry, gain of 8, Zimmerman on the tackle. Timeout, Colgate. Third and 2 from the 15. Single wing formation. O'Brien at the line. Sets to throw. Short hitch. He dropped it. O'Brien to Looney, incomplete. 32-yard kick for Alexander. Sparks to hold. This will give them the lead. Clean snap. The snap from Aldrich. Alexander made the 32-yard field goal, TCU 3, Colgate 0. Here's the kick from Alexander. The kick from Alexander is returned 13 yards by Herman, Duckworth with the tackle. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Herman with the handoff. Herman lost 1 on the play, Williams on the tackle. Second and 11 from the 22. Single wing formation. Lube drops back to pass. Pass to Garvey. Incomplete, Loop to Garvey, incomplete. Third and 11. Single wing formation. Loop at the line. Fades back to pass. Short hitch to Donnelly. Incomplete. Loop to Donnelly, incomplete. Penalty on the play. Hogue back in punt formation. "38-yard punt by Hogue. Return of 13 by O'Brien. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Give to O'Brien. He throws to Horner. O'Brien is intercepted by Hogue. Return of 3. Colgate down by 3. First and 10 from the 26. 2:52 left in the first. Single wing formation. Shotgun. The give to Herman. Herman with a 1-yard run. Horner on the tackle. Single wing formation. Lou barks out the signals. He fades back to pass. Lou throws underneath to Hogue. Complete. Lou completes the pass to Hogue. Gain of 44. OD on the tackle. First down. First and 10. Single wing formation. Hand off to Lou. He throws to Herman. He dropped it. Lou throws incomplete to Herman. Aldrich on the coverage.
Pass interference, defense. Number 48. Automatic, first down.
Single wing formation. Give to Hogue. Hogue on the carry, no gain. Looney on the tackle. Single wing formation. Wilson gives to Hogue. Hogue on the carry, gain of 2. Horner with the tackle. Third and 8 from the 16. Single wing formation. Lou drops back to pass. Short hitch. Incomplete. Lou passes to Wemple. Incomplete. OD on the coverage. 33-yard try for Scoville. Lou to hold. Buck with the snap. Scoville connects from 33 yards. Colgate 3, TCU 3. Scoville to kick off. The kick from Scoville is returned 35 yards by O'Brien. Johnson on the tackle. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. The give to O'Brien. He throws to Hall. Incomplete. O'Brien throws incomplete to Hall. Buck on the coverage. End of the first quarter. Colgate 3, TCU 3. Single wing formation. Sparks with the handoff. Sparks the ball carrier, no gain. Hamilton with the tackle. Third and 10 from the 49. Single wing formation. O'Brien fades back to pass. O'Brien to Clark against Lou. Incomplete. O'Brien throws incomplete to Clark. Lou on the coverage. Sparks back in punt formation. Hogue standing inside his own 10. "21-yard punt by Sparks, out of bounds. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Lou drops back to pass. Medium fly to Wemple. Complete. Lube completes the pass to Wemple, gain of 31, OD on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Wilson running. Lube on the sweep, gain of 12, OD on the tackle, first down. Tie score. 1st and 10 from the 29. Single wing formation. Lube takes a deep drop. False. Lube with a 12-yard run, OD on the stop, first down. Single wing formation. Lube at the line. Hand off to Hogue. Hogue with a gain of 2 on the play, Warner on the tackle. Single wing formation. Lube sets up in the pocket. Short slant to Donnelly. Complete. Lube completes the pass to Donnelly, touchdown Colgate. Hogue will try the point after. The kick by Hogue is good, Colgate 10, TCU 3. Scoville boots it. The kick from Scoville is returned 27 yards by Hall, Johnson on the stop. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. O'Brien at the line. Running right. Clark with daylight. Clark with a gain of 28 on the play, Scoville on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Pitch left to Hall. Hall on the pitch, no gain, Wemple on the tackle. Single wing formation. Clark hands to Clifford. Clifford on the carry, loss of 1, Scoville on the stop. Third and 11. Single wing formation. O'Brien drops back to pass. Medium curl to Clark. He dropped it. O'Brien to Clark, incomplete, Lube on the coverage. Fourth and 11 from the 30. Single wing formation. O'Brien at the line. He fades back to pass. Medium hitch to Looney. Complete. O'Brien passes to Looney, touchdown TCU. O'Brien will try the point after. The kick by O'Brien is no good, Colgate 10, TCU 9. Alexander to kick off. The kick from Alexander is returned 22 yards by Hogue, Best on the tackle. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Wilson gives to Hogue. Hogue on the carry, no gain, White on the tackle. Single wing formation. Lube drops back to pass. Lube to Donnelly against Clark. Incomplete. Lube to Donnelly, incomplete, Clark on the coverage. Third and 10. Single wing formation. Lube calls out the signals. Drops back to pass. Short hitch to Herman, complete. Lube completes the pass to Herman, 22-yard gain, Aldrich on the tackle, first down. First and 10 at the 45. Single wing formation. Shovels it to Hogue. Hogue with a 2-yard run, Aldridge with the tackle. Single wing formation. Wilson pitches left to Hogue. Hogue the ball carrier, 7-yard gain, Williams on the tackle. Third and 1 from the 36. Single wing formation. Wilson hands to Hogue. Hogue on the carry, no gain, Horner on the tackle. Fourth and 1 from the 36. Single wing formation. Quick hand off to Hogue. Hogue on the carry, loss of 1, Looney on the tackle. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Shovels it to O'Brien. He throws to Horner. Incomplete. O'Brien throws incomplete to Horner, Hogue on the coverage. Single wing formation. O'Brien is back to pass. False. O'Brien on the carry, gain of 2, Wemple on the tackle. Third and 8. Single wing formation. O'Brien sets up in the pocket. Medium cross to Looney. He makes the catch. O'Brien completes the pass to Looney, gain of 26, Herman on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Hall tucks it under. O'Brien lost 2 on the play, Scoville on the tackle. Second and 12 at the 37. Single wing formation. O'Brien fades back to pass. Medium hitch to Clark. Complete. O'Brien passes to Clark, gain of 20, Lube on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. All running. O'Brien with the carry, no gain, Neal with the tackle. Second and 10. Single wing formation. Clark tucks it under. O'Brien on the carry, 3-yard gain, Donnelly on the tackle. Third and 7. Single wing formation. Give to O'Brien. He throws to Hall. Tipped by Buck in the end zone. O'Brien is intercepted by Herman. Flag on the play.
Roughing the passer, defense. Number 47. Automatic, first down.
Flag on the play.
False start. Offense. Number 48, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Single wing formation. O'Brien fades back to pass. Short into Horner. O'Brien throws incomplete to Horner, Hogue with the coverage. TCU down 1. Second and goal from the 12. Single wing formation. Give to O'Brien. He throws to Horner. Complete. O'Brien completes the pass to Horner, touchdown TCU. O'Brien will try the point after. O'Brien makes the extra point, TCU 16, Colgate 10. Alexander to kick off. The kick from Alexander is returned 12 yards by Herman, Ware on the tackle. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Lube at the line. Hand off to Lube. Lube throws to Hogue. Complete. Lube to Hogue. 8-yard gain. Sparks on the tackle. Second and 2 from the 34. Single wing formation. Lube calling signals. Wilson gives to Hogue. Room for Hogue. Hogue with a gain of 24 on the play. Clark on the tackle. First down. Single wing formation. Lube fades back to pass. Medium cross. Incomplete. Lube to Donnelly. Incomplete. Clark on the coverage. Single wing formation. Bootleg. Lube on the bootleg. No gain. Aldrich on the tackle. Third and 10 from the 42. Single wing formation. Lube to throw. Short out to Donnelly. Complete. Lube with the pass to Donnelly. Gain of 17. Clark on the tackle. First down. Single wing formation. Lube is back to pass. Lube tucks it under. Lube with a 2-yard run. Klein on the tackle. Single wing formation. Hurry up pace now. Lube drops back to pass. He checks down to Johnson. Complete. Lube to Johnson. Gain of 10. Aldrich on the tackle. First down. Single wing formation. Colgate in a hurry up. Lube calls out the signals. The give to Lube. Lube throws to Donnelly. Incomplete. Lube to Donnelly. Incomplete. Single wing formation. Hogue with the hand off. Hogue with a 2-yard run. Williams on the tackle. Third and 8 from the 11. Single wing formation. Colgate hustling to the line. Lube fades back to pass. Medium outside pass. Lube passes to Donnelly. Incomplete. Clark on the coverage. Scoville will try from 28 yards. Lube to hold. Good snap. The snap from Buck. Scoville made the 28-yard field goal. TCU 16, Colgate 13. Here's the kick from Scoville. The kick from Scoville is returned 19 yards by Hall. Johnson with the tackle. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. Give to O'Brien. He throws to Sparks. Complete. O'Brien to Sparks. 28-yard gain. Lube on the tackle. First down. TCU by 3. Single wing formation. Someone jumped. Possible free play for O'Brien. Hand off to O'Brien. He throws to Hall. He dropped it. O'Brien throws incomplete to Hall. Penalty on the play.
Encroachment defense. 5-yard penalty.
TCU by 3. Single wing formation. Hall pitches right to Hall. Hall lost 4 on the play. Hamilton on the tackle. Single wing formation. O'Brien sets up in the pocket. Short out pass to Clark. Complete. O'Brien to Clark, gain of 27, Lube on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. O'Brien calls out the signals. Clark with the handoff. Clark the ball carrier, gain of 5, Zimmerman on the tackle. Second and goal from the 4. Single wing formation. Hand off to O'Brien. He throws to Sparks. He dropped it. O'Brien throws incomplete to Sparks, Scoville with the coverage. Third and goal from the 4. Single wing formation. Hand off to O'Brien. He throws to Hall. O'Brien with the pass to Hall, incomplete. 21-yard attempt for Alexander. Sparks to hold. The snap from Aldrich. Alexander made the 21-yard field goal, TCU 19, Colgate 13. The kick from Alexander. The kick from Alexander is returned 18 yards by Hogue, Duckworth with the tackle. First and 10 from the 31. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Wilson gives to Hogue. Hogue the ball carrier, no gain, White on the tackle. Colgate trailing by 6. Single wing formation. Some movement up front. Possible free play for Lube. He fades back to pass. Screen to Herman. He dropped it. Lube throws incomplete to Herman, Aldrich with the coverage, end of the first half, TCU 19, here's the kick from Scoville. The kick from Scoville is returned 26 yards by O'Brien, Coley on the tackle. Single wing formation. O'Brien in the shotgun. O'Brien calling signals. Bootleg. O'Brien on the carry, no gain, Donnelly on the stop. Second and 10 from the 42. Single wing formation. O'Brien fades back to pass. False. O'Brien on the carry, gain of 12, Lube on the tackle, first down. First and 10. Single wing formation. Give to O'Brien. He throws to Horner. Incomplete. O'Brien throws incomplete to Horner, Hogue on the coverage. Single wing formation. O'Brien sets up in the pocket. O'Brien dumps it to Sparks. Incomplete. O'Brien to Sparks, incomplete, flag on the field.
Pass interference, defense. Number 70, 5-yard penalty. Automatic, first down.
Single wing formation. The give to O'Brien. O'Brien checks down to Horner. Incomplete. O'Brien throws incomplete to Horner, Hogue on the coverage. Single wing formation. O'Brien at the line. Hall with the hand off. Hall on the sweep, gain of 1, flag on the play.
Holding, offense. Number 22, 10-yard penalty.
Second and 20 from the 49. Single wing formation. O'Brien drops back to pass. Medium cross to Looney. Complete. O'Brien completes the pass to Looney, gain of 26, Herman with the tackle, first down. Flag on the field.
False start. Offense. Number 24, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
First and 15. Single wing formation. Hall running. 3-yard run by O'Brien. Buck on the tackle. Second and 12 from the 27. Single wing formation. Give to Sparks. 8-yard run by Sparks. Herman with the tackle. Third and 4. Single wing formation. Clark takes the handoff. 4-yard run by Clark. Wemple on the tackle. Fourth and inches at the 15. Single wing formation. O'Brien barks out the signals. Bootleg. O'Brien on the carry, no gain. Wemple on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Hall gives to Sparks. Running room, Sparks on the carry, touchdown TCU. O'Brien will try the point after. O'Brien converts the extra point, TCU 26, Colgate 13. Here's the kick from Alexander. The kick from Alexander is returned 13 yards by Herman, best on the stop. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. The give to Lou. He throws to Hogue. Incomplete. Lou throws incomplete to Hogue. Sparks on the coverage. Second and 10 at the 34. Single wing formation. Wilson with the handoff. Wilson with the carry, 3-yard gain. Hale on the tackle. Colgate down 13. Third and 7 at the 37. Single wing formation. Lube sets up in the pocket. Lube checks down to Hogue. Complete. Lube completes the pass to Hogue. Gain of 8. Sparks on the tackle. First down. Single wing formation. Johnson with the handoff. Johnson running room. Johnson on the carry, gain of 39, OD on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Hogue with the transfer. 4-yard run by Hogue, Looney with the tackle. Flag on the play.
False start. Offense. Number 45, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Single wing formation. Hogue takes the handoff. Hogue on the carry, gain of 1, Cook with the tackle. Third and 10 from the 16. Single wing formation. Lube calls out the signals. The handoff to Hogue. Hogue lost 4 on the play, Hale with the tackle. Fourth and 14. Single wing formation. Lube calls the signals. Give to Lube. He throws to Wilson. Incomplete. Lube to Wilson, incomplete. TCU by 13. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Hall tucks it under. O'Brien lost 2 on the play, flag on the play.
Holding, offense. Number 48, 10-yard penalty.
Single wing formation. O'Brien from the shotgun. Bootleg. Room to run. O'Brien on the carry, 18-yard gain, Lube on the tackle. Second and 2. Single wing formation. Clark with the handoff to Clark. 1-yard run by Clark, Donnelly on the tackle. TCU breaks the huddle. 3rd and 1. Single wing formation. Hall gives to Clark. Clark with the carry, 2-yard gain, Zimmerman on the tackle, 1st down. Single wing formation. Clark pitches right to Clifford. Clifford on the pitch, gain of 7, Scoville on the tackle. Second and 3. Single wing formation. Hall with the give to Hall. Hall with the carry, no gain, Donnelly on the tackle. Third and 3 from the 38. Single wing formation. O'Brien at the line. Bootleg. O'Brien on the bootleg, no gain, Neal with the tackle. Sparks to punt. "39-yard punt by Sparks, return of 8 by Hogue. Single wing formation. Lube in the shotgun. Bootleg. 4-yard run by Lube, Cook with the tackle. Second and 6. Single wing formation. Lube is back to pass. Medium cross to Wemple. Complete. Lube to Wemple, gain of 36, OD on the tackle, 1st down. 1st and 10. Single wing formation. Bootleg. Lube with the carry, gain of 7, Warner on the tackle. Second and 3. Single wing formation. Lube drops back to pass. Lube checks down to Hogue, complete. Lube passes to Hogue, 15-yard gain, flag on the field.
Holding, offense. 10-yard penalty.
Colgate down 13. Second and 13. Single wing formation. Lube sets up in the pocket. Medium slant to Donnelly. Incomplete. Lube to Donnelly, incomplete. Penalty on the play.
Illegal motion, offense. Number 57, 5-yard penalty.
Second and 18 from the 37. Single wing formation. Lube back to pass. Medium cross to Wemple. Incomplete. Lube throws incomplete to Wemple, OD on the coverage. Third and 18. 2:58 in the third. Single wing formation. Lube fades back to pass. Medium cross to Wemple. Incomplete. Lube throws incomplete to Wemple. Hogue back in punt formation. 32-yard punt by Hogue, no return. First and 10 from the 5. Single wing formation. O'Brien from the shotgun. Hall running. O'Brien on the carry, no gain, Donnelly with the tackle. Single wing formation. Clark with the handoff. Clark on the carry, no gain, Wemple on the tackle. Third and 10 from the 5. Single wing formation. Give to O'Brien. He throws to Clark. Incomplete. O'Brien to Clark, incomplete, Lube with the coverage. Sparks back in punt formation. Standing in the end zone. "43-yard punt by Sparks, return of 9 by Lube. Colgate trailing by 13. First and 10 from the 39. 1:10 left in the third. Single wing formation. Lube from the shotgun. Pitch left to Hogue. Hogue with an 8-yard run, Williams on the stop. Single wing formation. Lube hollers out the signals. Pitch left to Hogue. Hogue on the pitch, gain of 4, Hale on the tackle, first down. Colgate trailing by 13. Single wing formation. Hogue takes the handoff. Hogue lost 1 on the play, Aldrich on the tackle, end of the third quarter, TCU 26, Colgate 13. Single wing formation. Wilson gives to Wilson. Wilson on the carry, no gain, White on the tackle. Third and 11 at the 28. Single wing formation. Lube at the line. Fades back to pass. Medium fly. Donnelly with the catch. Lube completes the pass to Donnelly, touchdown Colgate. Hogue will try the point after. Hogue converts the extra point, TCU 26, Colgate 20. Scoville boots it. The kick from Scoville is returned 24 yards by O'Brien, Johnson on the tackle. Single wing formation. O'Brien in the shotgun. Bootleg. O'Brien with a gain of 3 on the play, Zimmerman on the tackle. Single wing formation. The handoff to Sparks. Sparks gains 8 on the sweep, Donnelly on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. The give to Clark. Clark on the carry, gain of 3, Garvey on the tackle. Second and 7 from the 49. Single wing formation. Clifford with the handoff. Clifford on the sweep, gain of 5, Buck on the tackle. Third and 2. Single wing formation. Pitch right to Hall. Hall on the carry, gain of 3, Buck with the tackle, first down. First and 10 at the 41. Single wing formation. Hand off to O'Brien. He throws to Horner. Complete. O'Brien completes the pass to Horner, gain of 12, Hogue on the tackle, first down. Single wing formation. Hand off to O'Brien. O'Brien checks down to Sparks, complete. O'Brien completes the pass to Sparks, 11-yard gain, Scoville on the stop, first down. Single wing formation. Hall pitches right to Hall. Hall the ball carrier, gain of 2, Neal on the tackle. Horned Frogs by 6. Single wing formation. Hall tucks it under. O'Brien on the carry, no gain, Hamilton on the tackle. TCU leads by 6. 3rd and 8. Single wing formation. Current drive, 9 plays, 47 yards. 3:55 off the clock. Clark on the draw. Clark with the carry, no gain, Garvey on the tackle. 33-yard attempt for Alexander. Sparks to hold. The snap from Aldrich. Alexander missed from 33. Colgate down 6. 1st and 10 at the 20. Single wing formation. Lube from the shotgun. Wilson tucks it under. Lube with the carry, no gain, Looney on the tackle. Second and 10 from the 20. Single wing formation. The give to Herman. Herman on the sweep, 5-yard gain, Hale on the tackle. Colgate down by 6. 3rd and 5 from the 25. Single wing formation. Give to Lube. He throws to Hogue. He dropped it. Lube passes to Hogue, incomplete, Sparks on the coverage. Hogue back in punt formation. Hogue won't get the kickoff. Hogue lost 9 on the play, Cook on the tackle. Single wing formation. Shotgun formation. O'Brien at the line. Hall running. O'Brien on the carry, loss of 2, Wemple on the tackle. Single wing formation. Very slow coming to the line. O'Brien at the line. Hand off to Hall. Hall with the carry, no gain, Buck on the stop. Third and 12 from the 18. Single wing formation. Slow down offense. O'Brien at the line. Fades back to pass. It's dumped to Clark. Incomplete. O'Brien to Clark, incomplete, flag on the play.
Roughing the passer, defense. Number 98. Automatic, first down.
1st and goal from the 9. Single wing formation. Running left. Clark lost 4 on the play, Wemple on the tackle. Single wing formation. TCU taking their time. All hands to Clark. Clark lost 1 on the play, Neal on the tackle. Third and goal. Single wing formation. O'Brien calls out the signals. The give to O'Brien. He throws to Horner. Complete. O'Brien to Horner, touchdown TCU. O'Brien will try the point after. The kick by O'Brien is no good, TCU 32, Colgate 20. Alexander boots it. The kick from Alexander is returned 12 yards by Herman, where on the tackle. Colgate down 12. Single wing formation. Lube in the shotgun. Lube at the line. Back to pass. Short hitch to Herman. Incomplete. Lube to Herman, incomplete. Aldrich on the coverage. Second and 10 from the 28. Single wing formation. The handoff to Herman. 6-yard run by Herman, Klein on the tackle. Third and 4. Single wing formation. Colgate in a hurry up. The snap is fumbled. Fumble. Lube lost 3 on the play, fumble recovered by Lube. Colgate maintains possession. Hogue back in punt formation. "39-yard punt by Hogue, 10-yard return by O'Brien. Single wing formation. Shotgun. Hand off to O'Brien. He throws to Sparks, complete. O'Brien to Sparks, gain of 11, Scoville on the stop, first down. Single wing formation. O'Brien working very slowly. Clifford with the handoff. Clifford with the carry, 8-yard gain, Lube with the tackle. Single wing formation. O'Brien taking his time. Clark tucks it under. O'Brien the ball carrier, loss of 4, Hamilton on the tackle. Third and 6. Single wing formation. Slow down. O'Brien at the line. He fades back to pass. Medium cross to Horner. Complete. O'Brien completes the pass to Horner, 32-yard gain, Lube on the stop, first down. Single wing formation. Slow down. O'Brien at the line. The snap is fumbled. Fumble. O'Brien on the carry, loss of 4, fumble recovered by O'Brien, TCU maintains possession. Second and 14. Single wing formation. Sparks on the draw. Sparks running room, Sparks on the carry, touchdown TCU. O'Brien will try the point after. O'Brien converts the extra point, TCU 39, Colgate 20. Here's the kick from Alexander. The kick from Alexander is returned 15 yards by Herman, Best with the tackle. Single wing formation. Lube in the shotgun. Hand off to Lube. He throws to Hogue. Complete. Lube passes to Hogue, gain of 14, Klein on the tackle, first down. Colgate down by 19. First and 10 from the 48. Single wing formation. Lube sets up in the pocket. He dumps it to Hogue. Incomplete. Lube passes to Hogue, incomplete, Sparks on the coverage. Colgate trailing by 19. Single wing formation. Lube sets up in the pocket. Screen. Incomplete. Lube throws incomplete to Herman. Penalty on the play.
Offsides, defense. Number 36, 5-yard penalty.
Second and 5 at the 47. 1:12 left in the game. Single wing formation. Lube sets to throw. Long outside pass to Wemple. Incomplete. Lube to Wemple, incomplete, OD on the coverage. Third and 5 from the 47. Single wing formation. Lube takes a deep drop. Medium in. Hit by Sparks at the 27. Lube is intercepted by Klein, return of 16. Hall takes a knee. Hall will take a knee. Hall will take a knee. TCU 39, Colgate 20.